Why doesn't Darth Vader use Force lightning? An age-old question for Star Wars fans everywhere, and if you research the topic, you will find tons upon tons of conflicting answers. But today, we will break it all down and decipher the true answer from both Legends and canon continuity. For the longest time, the answer was left unclear until the Legends comic Splinter of the Mind's Eye came out. In the comic, it is said that Darth Vader was capable of producing Force lightning because of his immense strength in the dark side, but that he never did due to the risk it posed to himself. After Anakin was cut down on Mustafar, much of his living tissue was destroyed as he burned. Anakin had lost all his remaining limbs and his skin slowly burnt away as well. This was crippling to him, not only in the physical sense, but with the Force as well, because the Force is something that flows through living things. It is a big testament to Vader that he was able to come back from this and be as skilled as he was, after losing so much of his inherent power. So back to the comic, it is specified that yes, Vader can in fact conjure Force lightning, but he doesn't, because if he were to, it would cause more harm to himself than any opponent. The reasoning for this is that it would short out his cybernetics, but you may be asking, can't he just manipulate his cybernetics afterwards, still like he has done before? Well, yes, even in canon, Vader is said to manipulate his cybernetic limbs with the Force to make him move more effectively and to make him a better fighter all around. But the big thing that is missing here is not that the lightning would short out his limbs, but also his life support system. The life support system is the thing above all that keeps Vader alive, and without it, he will slowly die. This is in fact how he died in Return of the Jedi. The Emperor's Force lightning shorted out his life support system, and his body eventually just gave out. In Legends, there is an ability very similar to Force lightning that Vader is capable of, however. The ability is known as Kinetite. Kinetite was a power that involved energized Force energy being flung at an individual, and it was not capable of burning or electrocuting someone, therefore he could use it and it wouldn't short out his suit. It is theorized this is possible because Kinetite is a power conjured outside of the body and would not affect the inner workings of Vader's suit, but it has also been suggested the ability was built into Vader's suit itself and that he does not use it as a Force ability at all. So many of you may be asking, what about Starkiller and Vader withstanding his Force lightning? Well, originally, the Emperor actually designed Vader's suit to have an inherent weakness to Force lightning, so that if he ever attempted to overthrow him, he would be swiftly put back in his place. This is actually something the Emperor constantly taunts Vader over, that he has the power to at any moment end Vader with his immense skill with the ability. Vader over time, though, implemented several secret deterrents into his suit that conducted the electricity back out and allowed him to withstand it for short periods of time. So now we have come to the answer in canon. Can Darth Vader use Force lightning? Well, nope. This small piece comes from the canon Revenge of the Sith Jr. novelization. But it was his promising new apprentice, who was to be the greatest Sith who'd ever lived, maimed and burned, perhaps dead. Darth Sidious ground his teeth in frustrated anger. Part of him wanted to turn on his heel and leave what was left of Darth Vader to burn to ashes in the rising lava. Even if he was alive, even if he could be saved, Vader would be crippled. And not just with his mechanical limbs. The Force, dark side as well as light, was generated by living beings, and it took living flesh to manipulate it. Darth Vader would never be able to cast blue Force lightning. That required living hands, not metal ones, and with so much of his body replaced by machinery, he would never come close to the potential he'd had. It was a great pity, Darth Sidious thought, controlling his anger, but perhaps not irreparable. Even diminished, Darth Vader would still be very strong, and there were no Jedi left to challenge him. Darth Sidious had seen to that himself, so he kept walking until he could bend over the body, and to his surprise, his apprentice was alive. So that is the concrete answer from a canon source. According to Sidious, no, Vader could not use Force lightning because a major contributing factor is living hands, and Vader does not have any. In canon, not only would Force lightning short out his suit if he were capable of using it, but he's not able to use it at all because he lacks the organic hands. This all goes back to what the Force is. The Force is not something mechanical or that can be built. It's what connects living matter together. If Vader had not been burned, would he have been capable of using Force lightning? Absolutely, with the use of his non-robotic hand. Another question is, why didn't he ever use it in Revenge of the Sith? The answer to this question is also a very simple one. So much happens so quickly in that film that Vader doesn't even have a single learning session to explore his new powers. He does utilize more aggressive abilities like Force Choke though, and explore some of the more aggressive sides of the Force. But even Force Choke is something he experimented with as a Jedi. I believe that if Vader had had even one practice session with Sidious revolving around the ability, he would have been able to conjure it fairly effectively. As a Jedi, it was always something said to stay away from, and for good reason. It's one of the darkest abilities the gift of the Force has to offer. But even if he were to have just one moment of practice, he could have probably used it, similarly to Darth Bane, how it took him only one session to discover how to use the power. Unfortunately for Vader though, Palpatine's plan had to be enacted immediately, and he was forced to fall back on what he had at the time. So tell me down below, which explanation do you prefer? That Vader can't use the power at all, or that he can, just that it would do more damage to himself and his suit than any opponent? If you have any other Star Wars questions you want answered, leave them below or tweet me suggestions at @StupendousWave on Twitter and I might make a video on it. We recently reached 250,000 subscribers on the channel and I just want to tell you all how grateful I am. I didn't want to make a whole video dedicated to it because I figured you would just prefer the regular content. But it really means a lot, and I'm thankful all of you have given me the opportunity to talk about something I love with people that adore it as much as I do. So thank you very much. As always, thank you so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.